I had quite a bit out there at that point, and I was just like, wow. I was at an NFT market, or not market, an NFT auction in
Uh-huh.
Discord, like while everything was going down, and I was just like, take my money, it's all worthless anyway, and I was just throwing money all over the place. Woo.
Hey, dude, I'm here with Chronic. Thanks a lot for accepting my invitation. This is episode 5 of Proof of Talk, and we're going to be talking DAOs, specifically PaintSwap DAO and the game that you guys created, EstFor Kingdoms. First of all, how are you doing, man?
Man, pretty good. Pretty good. I had a late start this morning to my day, but it's a lovely Sunday here. We're recording. It is about to be 9 a.m. my time, so a whole day of exciting life ahead of me.
Awesome. No, that sounds great. What is the ultimate aim of the game? And if there's any lore or story, I think that would be
Oh,
interesting to
you
go
mean
into.
like the meta of the game? Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like, I
yeah.
don't know, be a fun game. It's okay. So I did the writing for the game. I've done a lot of that. That's like my background. So S4 Kingdom is a mysterious world full of magic and strange creatures, things that we've never seen before. Not a lot of humans to be found. Our game follows the adventures of sentient woodland creatures um, living in Est-for Kingdom. As time goes on, there's uh, there's a backstory to this world and why it exists in the state that it does exist, and will be like breadcrumbing that throughout the game. It's already actually there in a few places. If you can hunt, you can find places where there are like traces of ancient language and stuff like that. So that's pretty neat, and it's hidden in the NFTs as well as in the game itself. So there's a lot of lore out there and available right now. If anybody wants to see, also get on our S4 Kingdom Twitter. But the goal of the game is to be the best hero out there, right? You want to be number one. It's all about the leaderboard. And, we've got not just an overall leaderboard, but we do keep skill specific leaderboards so that you've got like your woodcutters who are not doing combat. They're chopping them willows, and all of the skills having their own leaderboard. It's all about the clout. It's all about if you're in a clan, making sure your clan is the strongest and the wealthiest clan. You know, your basic WoW experience.
Right. So different play styles, you could go and hack at monsters and get good loot, or you could create an economy, right, if you wanted
Mhm.
to.
Yeah. If you want to do combat, you can do combat. I don't really do a lot of combat in my play. I mostly just do skills. I don't know why. I gain nothing from it, but I do it anyway. Um, but yeah.
I did like the graphics, the design quite a lot. Like I'm not sure if you're involved in that at all, because you mentioned you were an artist, but the designs are looking really cool.
Thank you very much for that. We really appreciate it. Our art in the game was designed by our developer Pantoshi working with Midjourney. So
Oh,
that's
I
we
see.
have a lot of AI art that he then retouched and improved upon significantly, obviously because they don't look stupid. Um, and then all of our backgrounds, all of our heroes are like that as well. And then for our icons and such, we did hire artists to do those. So I didn't do any of it. I don't do that's not my kind of. You can see it's a much more chaotic display of
Yeah,
art.
a lot
Um,
more abstract. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, it's that was our developer Pantoshi did the vast majority of the legwork on that. And he did a really really good job.
Nice. No, it does look amazing. It does look really good. So how many core members are in your guys' DAO at the moment?
Oh geez. Okay. Core team, 8-ish, something like that. It's still early. We've got now our big heavy hitter developer guys though,
Uh huh.
Sam Pantoshi and Raptor. They're the ones that are doing the code lifting, and then you've got me and A Rod. We do business development. You've got Hubert. who does our infrastructure. And then we have a consistent tester. I don't think I can actually tell you who his name is. And then we've got someone who works with us on stats, who I also don't think I can tell you who his name is. So 8. We have 8.
Fair enough. Yeah, nice agile team. I like that.
Yeah, we try and keep it really lean. I mean, we've been larger before, and in
Yeah.
fact, not even during the bull market, during the bear market, we were a larger team at one point, but it's just not it's not needed. We like to stay limber. We want to be able to respond, and it's good to always know whose hands are in whatever product you're working on at any given time. Easily reach them, easily work with them. So, you know, yeah, and it's a
Yeah.
good team. I'm really happy to be a part of it. It's good guys to work with.
Nice. How long you been with the DAO for now?
Oh, well, it's October. I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years. I have no idea.
Fair enough.
I
Oh,
started
but
as
that's
a
that's still
mod, so
that's a
like I
while.
was
That's
a
a good
mod
while.
in the Discord for a good amount of time before I was actually on the team, and so it all just kind of runs together for me, honestly. A long
Right.
time, long time. I alpha tested the NFT marketplace when it came out,
All
so
right. Okay. Okay.
yeah, been a minute.
Nice. It's great that you can have products like amazing products that they can just scale so much without needing to add more manpower. Like that's so good about this kind of approach to technology. I think so. I was reading about back when Instagram, well, before Instagram was ever bought by Facebook, they got to 500 million users with 4 core devs. That's all they
That's
needed.
wild. That's
It's
wild.
crazy. It's crazy because the margins must be so huge. Well, if Instagram were making any profit at the time, which
Yeah,
they
if they were
weren't,
making any
but
money, it would be.
yeah,
That's how we feel too, Instagram. If we were making any money, we'd be keeping all of it,
yeah.
man.
So I'm guessing the way that DAO survives is through people acquiring brush tokens, right? Is what fuels you
Oh,
guys and what allows you guys to do the things you do.
no, we have continuing streams of income through our financial NFT marketplace partnerships. We
Okay.
Every time we deploy a new financial NFT marketplace member, like not even necessarily to a new chain, but like a new project gets deployed, we're paid for those services. That's a custom integration in a locked NFT, so that we can't dump on the project, obviously.
Right.
Um, so we have those as a continuing source of income. We do work really closely with the Fantom Foundation as well. We recently got received quite a bit from the Gitcoin grant that Fantom Foundation ran.
Hmm.
That's what me and A-Rod do, man. We pursue funding. We find funding where we can. We don't work off the backs of our community.
Right.
But also we don't we don't make a lot of money either. So what are you gonna do, man? It is what it is. Either
Yeah.
you're
I
a
mean
good person or you're
that's why
rich.
I
I guess
asked.
you can pick.
That's why I asked because it's I know like it's such a new kind of business model, right? Running a DAO and being able to survive while running a DAO.
Yeah,
It's I'm sure it's a big challenge.
it is. It's challenging, but also we've surrounded ourselves with people who are also working in these areas. If that makes sense,
Yeah.
we have all around us a good community of developers and other project leads, and the Fantom Foundation themselves, and um, a variety of people, and having that community of builders working together. I don't know. It's kind of like irreplaceable. You know what I'm saying? Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that helps us to navigate this ourselves, seeing the people around us do it. It's not so much like we lean on each other for sustenance or whatever, but it's like the watching of someone else going through what you're going through while you're trying to do
Oh
it.
yeah.
That's what makes
For
it
sure.
possible.
That's why it's easier to work out when you're at the gym rather than do it by yourself at home. You
Exactly.
see see other people
Exactly.
going through the same struggle as you are. It's like, fuck, okay, I guess I'm gonna go
If
do
that
that then.
idiot can do it, I can do it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, if that guy who's like 6'4" and 300 pounds can do it, I can do it too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you only got to do it for like 25 years or so until you look like that guy. Uh, what are then the next steps for your DAO or for the PaintSwap marketplace itself?
Man, we've got several financial NFT marketplaces in queue right now. So we work in sprints at PaintSwap, kind of like loose sprints. I don't know if you're familiar with the DevOps pipeline, but that's
Yeah,
kind of how
yeah.
we operate. Um, so we've got a couple of those in progress right now. And once we move past that, we've got yeah, we just have a bunch of integration that we're working on right now, honestly, is kind of what we're doing. So I can't be specific on it, especially because a lot of these involve like partners where I really can't talk about them a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
so it kind of is what it is there, but we'll be looking at marketplace wise. We may be seeing some new integrations come through soon. Financial marketplace, you'll see some new projects. As y'all know, we're constantly developing those.
Hmm.
And then S4, working we're still working on that as well. We're just doing
Right.
everything, man. We're working on everything all the time.
Uh,
It's
is
great.
your is your token listed on any centralized exchanges, or do you have any plans for listing?
I mean, no, not. I mean, no, it is not. We don't have plans to list on SX at this time. Last time we did, it did nothing for us. It did nothing for the community. It did nothing for the
Right.
token. Just cost us money. And we run so, you know, we run such a tight ship. That's a waste of resources for us. Because we aren't going to be out here putting 250 grand into a publicity campaign
Right.
to make people buy it. So then why put it there? No. Anyway, that's not important. But we're not looking so much at the centralized half of it right now. It's we recognize the need for that. We would sooner entertain crypto on ramping, or I'm sorry, fiat on ramping,
Hmm.
rather than centralized exchanges. That would be much more up our alley than a centralized exchange again.
Right. So people being able to create all these transactions and buy items using maybe something like MoonPay potentially.
Something similar along that vein, somewhere in there. I hadn't. This is not a fleshed out thing, so I can't get too deep
Right.
into it. But that would be much more akin to what we are talking about than doing a centralized for the token. And they're like, yeah, you got your token. Now it's on the centralized exchange, though. We don't want people using it. We don't want it sitting there gathering dust. So
Yeah, that makes sense, and that creates a whole new idea of making this more for speculation rather than enjoying the game and enjoying the experience itself.
and this is not a security, guys. So
This is not a
I don't
security.
know why we would put it on the centralized exchange if it's not a security. Come on now.
No, it's true. It's true. I noticed this happening with the subreddit, with the cryptocurrency subreddit, right? Which is essentially, if you're not aware, or for people that are listening that are not aware, there's something called moons on the cryptocurrency subreddit, which is the governance token of this subreddit. And every month, people, active members of the cryptocurrency community, get awarded moons based on how much they comment and how much people upvote their comments and posts. So there's something now known as moon farming. So you have less people going on cryptocurrency subreddit to talk crypto, and you have more moon farming. You got people. It creates a lot of echo chamber. Like, people talk about the things that know is going to give them moons, and there's less opinions that are around things that people in the community generally don't agree with. So it turned into a moon farming echo chamber, which is a shame, but it's definitely changed the dynamic of the subreddit itself from what it used to
Yeah,
be to what it's
it's
become.
rather like I was saying to someone just the other day. I was talking to someone about this, and it's a lot like being in online college where you're required to post on the message board to get your credit. That's
Yeah.
kind of what it's turning into, and it's stupid. Not a huge fan. I've never been a huge fan, but you hate to see it because I know a lot of people absolutely adore r/crypto. Is legend.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I think, I think CoinMarketCap, oh no, Coinbase actually is how they've started. They originally linked up through this subreddit. The core
Huh.
team met and
That's
they started
crazy.
talking. That's
Of
crazy
course
because
they
that's
did.
what it used to be. You know, that's what
Yeah.
this subreddit used to stand for. Is people going there and talking about the projects they want to build or linking up with other people and then going to build something. And now it's just this kind of echo chamber of people posting news and people commenting on news and stuff. You know, and I've actually reached out to the mod community, and I've tried to steer the direction of the subreddit more in in like, let's bring back the community aspect of it, because there's people here that are working on it's how I linked up with the LTO network, and there's other like dormant projects that are not active on that subreddit, because there's so much hate against just startups in crypto. On a cryptocurrency subreddit, people don't want to talk about crypto projects. They'd rather
Right.
just talk about the
Right.
news.
Get out of here. Everybody's a shiller. You want to
Yeah,
talk about
exactly.
your project for 2 seconds? They're like, quit shilling.
Quit chilling. Yeah.
Kills me,
Uh,
man. Kills me. I'm like, okay, I'll just shut up then.
yeah, it's honestly what a lot of the crypto companies are doing. That were on that subreddit and were engaging with the community. They just stopped engaging. So
Yeah. Yeah. Crypto seems to have kind of migrated away from from Reddit. Reddit seems to be a lot like a gateway at this point, more than where
yeah,
the experienced people are. Of course, I'm in like 700 telegrams, but it also seems like
yeah,
nothing really happens for real in telegrams anymore. It's almost exclusively like my Twitters and my Discords are pretty much the only place it pops off. You know what I mean? Where I'm actually meeting new people, not established connections,
right.
and working with those people. Excuse me, which even that, I said Twitter earlier, X, whatever.
Yeah.
It is the Wild West out there, though. You've got to be careful with what you're doing. So if anyone's listening to this and is working on a project, watch out because people will take advantage of you on these places. It's exactly like it always was in that regard. There's always someone that will. So, friendly
Oh
advice from
yeah.
PaintSwap: don't get scammed.
Don't get scammed. Just life pro tip. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, speaking of Twitter, it's interesting that I keep getting advertised collectible NFTs that are almost carbon copy of each other, like zombies and kittens and stuff like that. And I remember a year ago, you didn't used to have any kind of NFT advertising, especially like these kind of
Oh yeah.
collectibles. You get a lot of that right now.
Um, we had not too awful long ago. I think this was prior to pay for your blue check. I can't remember for sure.
Right.
But there was some point where we lost our like Twitter professional or something because we were a crypto organization. They're like, oh no, we don't offer that anymore. And we were like, we didn't even advertise. We were trying to like promote a tweet about releasing a V2 or something. And it was like, you can't promote, you idiot. And I'm like,
Yeah, what are you
cool,
doing
good.
here with your crypto project? Get out of
Yeah, I
here.
want to pay you like real American dollars, but whatever.
Yeah, no, it seems like there's so many channels that simply they don't allow, or they're not happy with crypto being part of that too. We've had this challenge as well, trying to promote our product, right? The trading platform I was telling you about before, and um, we can't use Google. We can't use Google ads or Bing ads or Twitter ads or Reddit ads or TikTok ads. It's why
Like, what's
why the fuck
happening
can
here,
we?
guys?
It's so weird, right? And like none of these channels will allow you to, and even if you don't mention anything in the copy or the description of the ad that
Yeah,
this is about crypto, then they go and they crawl
they're
your
checking your
site.
profile.
Yeah, they are.
It's bananas. It's wild. Yeah. And what's good about this though? What's good about this overreaction of corporate America, Western politics, all of these major tech companies, the overreaction against crypto is turning these people into clowns in the eyes of the general public. Because the more that, let's say, American Congress does open hearings on crypto and they all look like a bunch of doofuses, or, I don't know, maybe does Parliament talk about crypto yet. If not, they will soon, and they'll all look
Yeah.
stupid because they'll also all be old people. You know, so at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it's good for us because it's going to put in front of your general public, you know, hey, maybe we don't actually know about this. Maybe we've just been listening to people who don't understand it at all. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good thing. But maybe we can
Yeah. I
just
mean,
deal with it for now and it'll be a good thing later.
I think it's a good thing. I think if people, if well, first of all, if the discussion happens in whichever direction, I think it's a good thing because it raises awareness, and
Right.
there's going to be more people that understand that crypto is not all a scam and it's not, just a fad or whatever. It has very real use cases that can
Yeah.
completely change the way society works. Admittedly, yes, there are scams out there, right? But that's because I don't think it's regulated properly. I think and the level of regulation that we're getting at the moment is just you're trying to call like Bitcoin and Ethereum a security, and instead of trying to get rid of the other 22,000 shitcoins that are just popping up on a monthly basis.
Also, you know what would not have stopped the Sam Bankman-Fried problem? It had nothing to do with that.
Oh,
I was
there was a lot of corporate and political lobbying of that for FTX. So we didn't want to stop them until they actually couldn't sustain the business model anymore.
it was funny. Of course, he's in court, you know. Um,
Yeah.
and I heard a description of him from like someone in the media, and it was like crypto boy genius Sam Bankman-Fried, and I was like, oh my God.
It's how they
Please
used to
don't call
brand
this
him.
man a genius in the same sentence that you say crypto.
They used to call him the prodigal son of crypto or something like that. It's wild, dude. Like, have you heard the guy talk for one moment? Jesus Christ. This is all like it was only called that by people who had no idea what he does. And it's crazy how where news media, like, have you ever noticed how one news media outlet says one thing and then all of the others say the same thing?
Yeah, they'll report on the other news outlet. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Or they have the same message in the same way. Like, it's very uncommon to see different opinions, at least around cryptocurrency, from media outlets. They all have the same spiel that they spit out over and over again.
Probably got one guy writing copy for everybody.
Probably there's one dude. Yeah.
This dude knows what a computer is. Hey, write us some crypto stories.
Hey, you're hired.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
it's honestly it's a very strange space, and I can't wait for the new bull market to happen, because I think that's going to lead to so much more adoption, and a lot of people are going to stop being crypto skeptics and are going to start thinking, well, maybe this is a real thing, because
Yeah.
this is what happened in 2017, 2018 in the big bull run at the time. Um,
We can
it brought
hope.
a lot of it. Yeah.
We can hope. I'd love to see 2024 mean, big moves for crypto. I think that the number one thing that I'm keeping in mind going into 2024 with the halving of Bitcoin coming is I'm just trying to make sure that I keep myself invested, or whatever, keep myself in
Yeah.
and I keep myself liquid. And what's the worst that could happen? I already watched it all go to zero once. I'll
Oh man, oh yeah. I I have a story about Luna, because I was right there when it happened. I noticed it popping, well, not popping off, quite the opposite, right? Just dropping down massively. It
Mhm.
was over $100, so it dropped down 90%. And I was talking to my friend. I'm like, dude, we got to get in on this, because if it goes back, we're just gonna, we're gonna make bank. So we bought 90% down. Wake up next day, it's 90% down from the previous
From
day.
90% down.
Well, at this point, I'm invested, so I might as well just double down on that, right? So I do
Right.
the same thing. And then the third day, it's 90% down from the previous day again.
Yeah.
I bought all the way down, and I don't think it's worth very much right now. But it just
I
go,
bet it's
man.
not.
It was
Yeah,
absolutely wild. It was
that was
such.
a
It
nuts
was.
time. That was
It was the.
crazy. I had quite a bit out there at that point, and I was just like, wow. I was at an NFT market, or not market, an NFT auction in
Uh-huh.
Discord, like while everything was going down. And I was just like, take my money, it's all worthless anyway. And I was just throwing money all over the place. Woo. Tough
Wild
times.
times. Wild times. So do you collect a lot of NFTs?
I have a pretty substantial collection. I haven't been in the last several months because I promised myself I'd stop buying NFTs for a while because I bought so effing many of them. Um, so I've got quite a few, few thousand.
Right. Oh
Which
wow, a few thousand.
I know some people who have significantly more than me, but yeah, it's a bunch.
Okay. Well, yeah, a few thousand, definitely a bunch. Uh, what kind of NFTs do you collect?
It depends. Sometimes I do buy little, just kind of. I'll see little cute guys like netizens. I think are adorable. Just little pixel avatar people. I'll buy those things, but mostly it's art. The
Okay.
thing, the bulk of my collection is funny, small, 1 or 2 cent things that I just thought were
Right.
silly, so I bought them. But then I've got about 3 or 400 that are art. I'd say somewhere in there. Last time I looked at that wallet, I think it had 400 in it.
Okay. Mainly Phantom or other chains too?
Phantom. That's all. That's all my art is Phantom and AVAX for the most part. So that 400 would be on Phantom. I'm not really sure how much is on AVAX at this point.
Oh,
Probably
nice.
100 or 110 maximum, like hard maximum. I'd be really surprised if it's even that high.
Right. Right. Fair
Look, I'm
enough.
responsible, okay?
Dude, nothing wrong with that. Honestly, people collect stamps. Well,
That's
used to.
what
I don't
I'm saying.
think anyone collects stamps anymore. I don't think that's a thing that happens
I
anymore.
don't think anybody uses stamps anymore.
Uh,
Uses them to collect them.
oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I've been reading a bit before we had the conversation. So I know some of like the top level stuff around the DAO and around the game. Even the concept of a DAO itself is very interesting to see
Yeah,
all
it's
the ins.
big. It's big, right? So PaintSwap, we were founded. It's been over 2 years since the foundation of PaintSwap as an entity, um, as a DAO. It was created by 5 founders who had worked together in various other DeFi things at the time, but never their own project. They decided to go ahead and brand up, and they branded became PaintSwap. The goal being to fill visible gaps in DeFi ecosystems and promote true and actual decentralization of blockchain products. Which, for those who aren't maybe familiar, a truly decentralized blockchain product would be something that exists fully on the blockchain and can run regardless of any server or any whatever, as long as the blockchain runs, the product runs. So that was the foundation of the DAO. Um, Now, PaintSwap as a site is something that was founded a while back as a DEX. At the time, it was
Hmm.
a need that needed to be filled. But really, what where we hit our stride was when we moved into the NFT marketplace, which that has been a huge success for us. That led into our current pursuits with financial NFT marketplaces across multiple chains. Um, and in that time that we were doing both of those things, it's been now 6 weeks yesterday since we went live with
Nice.
um, EstFor Kingdom, which is our
Hmm.
decentralized GameFi product. It's a lot of fun. It's like an idle play RPG. So that all of those things together are the PaintSwap family. Our PaintSwap NFT marketplace, our PaintSwap financial NFT marketplaces, which do span multiple chains, and then S4 Kingdom, the NFT marketplace, and S4 Kingdom being at home on Phantom Opera Network.
Sweet. Yeah, I noticed you guys have some pretty nice partnerships with Arbitrum and Phantom as well. For the marketplace, because like Pancake, Jesus, you're gonna probably kill me for that. A PaintSwap.finance. It's yeah, it's a proper decks. Like it's got all the tools. You've got liquidity pools, I saw, and you also have the NFT marketplace in there. Now,
Mhm.
I had a quick browse through the marketplace. Is it with a particular focus on gaming and gaming related items, or is a general purpose marketplace?
Well, so two things. Most of our DEX functionality at this point has actually been sunset. We maintain our liquidity
Okay.
farms for people who are supporters of our Brush token, which has been around from the beginning. It is now governance token for DAO. We do votes and stuff like that for the course of PaintSwap. So just to be clear, what remains of the DEX in PaintSwap are those liquidity farms you're talking about.
Right.
Now, as far as the NFT marketplace, it's a fully open marketplace. The only reason that we decline content is in the event that it's provably stolen, um, which we've had a couple, or it's a contract that's a malicious actor. We've had a couple of instances of that over the years, but nothing too severe. We've caught most of it. The community tends to keep a pretty watchful eye on things like that. So you'll find anything from art to games to you can buy trading cards, you can buy all kinds of other digital collectible items. It's a lot. Phantom actually is a really diverse blockchain as far as the utilizations for NFT technology. So I mean, if anyone who's listening is unfamiliar with that, I'd highly encourage you to go on PaintSwap.finance and kind of just browse around and see what's there because it's some really interesting stuff from some really awesome creators.
Nice. Yeah, it's nice to see that it's general purpose, even though it could easily go in one direction or another based on the community. If you're familiar with Tezos at all, the blockchain,
Mhm.
they've branded the whole idea of the blockchain as the art world NFT blockchain. They struck some interesting partnerships with the Serpentine here in London and a few other like museums
Mhm.
or big kind of galleries and stuff. And it's interesting to see that although you have the tech to have it like general purpose, Tezos decided to go like, okay, we're just going to focus on this kind of art world type of NFTs.
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, it's interesting to see what they did with Tezos. Being on a different code base than others kind of gives them a lot of room to move because you don't have just random deployers coming to your chain. Pretty much anything that's EVM, this is going to be a little technical for a second for listeners, so maybe tune out if you don't like that. On EVM compatible chains, which is basically it goes back to the roots of Ethereum. If you can deploy it on Ethereum, you can deploy it on an EVM compatible chain. Anybody can deploy anything at any time, and it's super easy. I've deployed a ton of contracts myself. Now, that's also what gunks up blockchains and makes it take longer for your transactions to go through. Things get more expensive because every time we're writing the chain, we're writing all of these. Chronix Test 1515 contract is now live on the blockchain. So anyway, the reason I say all of that is to say that Tezos being a non-standard code base, not they don't have to implement any kind of restriction just by virtue of being in that non-standard code base. They don't get the same developers that EVM compatible chains get. So yeah, it is interesting, and I actually have a lot of friends that create on Tezos. We were talking a little bit earlier. I'm an
right.
artist, and I have a lot of artist friends, and it's really cool to see the differing dynamic there. There's not a focus on item appreciation like there is on other blockchains I've found. Um, so yeah, it is really interesting. But we did want to go with a as open as possible for the PaintSwap marketplace. In fact, one of the founding principles of the NFT marketplace was that openness, because
Hmm.
we had been seeing quite a bit of censorship and curation in other marketplaces, which is fine if you're going to declare that you curate your marketplace,
Right.
whatever. We just don't. We think that everybody should have a seat at the table and be able to sell their work.
Right. And what happens in the event that something does go against your guidelines, like maybe the art or whatever the imagery is completely inappropriate or it's a malicious contract? Does it get voted on by the DAO, or do you guys have a specialized team that kind of looks into that?
No, that's handled by our core team. That sort
Okay.
of thing. We need to be agile in that type of situation. You look at a lot of liability in those situations for our inexperienced users, who they just see something pop up and they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. You multiply that to scale, and that's a huge problem. So we stay agile as a team. We watch the community. I'm always plugged into the community as well as I can be. We have a really, really good group of people in our Discord who, they see something going awry. They always let us know. Um, but basically, the actual process of it is the very first thing that happens is it's stripped from the front end because that's
Mhm.
pretty easy. We just hide it. That's simple. We have those hiding mechanisms built in. We did that a while back to allow users to hide individual collections that they didn't want to see. So now we've got all of that right there on hand in the front end. We can easily access it. After
Right.
that, there are some additional back end things that would need to be done to ensure that it can't be sold or bought through our contract. And that's how we respond to those things. And then, of course, if it's a malicious contract, we did have one not too awful long ago. Well, it has been about a year now that it I can't recall the specific details of it, but we had to make a public response about it and say like, hey, don't interact with this. Like it's out there. It's available in other places. Don't interact with it. So we try not to do that unless it's just very clearly malicious. But you know,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I mean that's a good point. You gotta have like those quick reaction times and some kind of infrastructure in your backend to either
mhm.
block list contracts or wallets that are trying to deploy this kind of stuff. Um, so why Phantom?
It's fast. It's fast and it's cheap, man. It's fast, cheap, and scalable. We when Phantom was chosen by the PaintSwap team, there were not very many things like it out there. You know what I mean? Phantom was very young back in the days that PaintSwap originally hopped onto the chain. But the things that attracted us to Phantom in the first place remain true now. It is fast. It does not. It's not expensive, and it continues to perform well. Phantom just did some testing where they got like an absurd number of transactions through on their Phantom virtual machine, which is really interesting. Team's pretty good to work with. It's a good blockchain to make our home base. They treat us really well, and we work really well with the Phantom Foundation. So we'll definitely be maintaining that moving forward. And Phantom and all of the chains that we've deployed on up to this point, as a matter of fact, have been EVM compatible. There are some chains that do like a dual thing where there's the running actual blockchain and then the EVM compatible blockchain as
Right.
well. That's a thing that's out there. We're looking at that as well. But at this point, we're not really looking at altering our contracts away from EVM compatibility. It's cost versus benefit analysis. It's very complicated, and who really cares?
I mean, exactly. At the end of the day, it's just what is the end result? Because a lot of
Right,
people are not going to be super technical and are not going to want to know the ins and outs of everything. They're just going to
right.
need to understand. They need to know that it works and that it's scalable and that it's secure. Um, and I guess that just goes back to the blockchain trilemma. Like, how do you get all these three factors into a blockchain that kind of solves? It is decentralized,
Yeah.
is it secure, and is it fast? Right.
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's what we're all after every day. That's what we do with the technology. It has been interesting. We've been doing this for quite a long time now. We've been doing this for over 2 years, um, and seeing all of the surge of new blockchains during the bear market that kind of happened. This is about 6 7 months ago. It kind of really started picking up or whatever, and watching all of that happen and kind of a whole new generation of people pursue these same things. It's just really interesting to see how cyclical all of that is. Because at the end of the day, you'll find your people that are out here deployed on, I don't know, Polygon, and they're like, we're not leaving Polygon. There's no
Yeah.
reason to. You know what I mean? And that's it's kind of how we are in a lot of respects. You know, it's we want to be there. We want to be on the bleeding edge, and we don't shy away from that. But you know, it just is very interesting to see these things come back again and see more people say, "Hey, look, we're fast, secure, and scalable." You know, like
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, I mean,
man.
absolutely. There's not much else to do, honestly, in the bear market. Like, if you think about the crypto space, there's no. I feel like I'm on like Reddit, cryptocurrency, and crypto Twitter on a daily basis. I noticed the lack of hype. I remember the hype back
Mhm.
in 2020, 2021.
Oh
People
yeah.
were going ape shit over stuff, right?
Mhm.
Everything and anything it was filled with so much hype. And right
Yeah.
now, that hype is just it's just been sucked out of the community, and the few communities that remain active, they just build stuff. There's nothing
Yeah.
else to do.
Yeah, I'll tell you what you can do in the bear market. You can play S4 Kingdom. That's what we did. We built S4 Kingdom, and it's great. So, you
So
know,
that's
just for
also on
market
Phantom,
ratings.
right?
Yes, yeah. S4 is the other Phantom product along with the broad NFT marketplace.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
we actually used some of the code base from our original marketplace when we were developing it. So it just kind of made sense. You know, at the time, we didn't, when we first began developing S4 Kingdom, we had not yet made a lot of our contracts chain agnostic as we have, you know, since
Right.
we've been doing these across chain deployments. But that being said, the nature of the thing doesn't really lend itself to being a multi chain venture, at least not at this point, until we could support multi chain interactive play and interactive leaderboards. Then that might kind of make sense.
Oh,
But,
that'd be
you know,
wild.
what we want is one player base. We want leaderboards with those players fighting the clans. They're all in one place. Um, and I mean, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And it's really been interesting seeing, you know, people who I remember from when, you know, bull market was on, we were constantly interacting, everything was going on. I'm seeing these people kind of again around S4 Kingdom. And it's really awesome. Or people who haven't ever left the space and I'm seeing them play S4 Kingdom and I'm like, cool, I'm glad that you're doing this for yourself. You need to chill
Oh, that's
out.
cool. How many players do you have so far?
You know
Player
what?
count.
Actually, let's do a let me get on DApp radar real quick. It changes so much that like I can't ever give you an estimate.
'Cause it's a relatively new release as well, right? It was just the end of August, wasn't it?
Yeah,
25th, I
yeah, we're
think.
6 weeks live as of
Yeah.
yesterday.
Damn
On
nice.
the
Congratulations.
full, that's on the full game. We did have beta out for quite a while before that. I can't recall the
Yeah,
exact.
you know what? I noticed that you guys had the exact same development cycle that we did for the algorithmic crypto tool that we've been working on.
Really?
So yeah, I'm part of this team. We built an algorithmic cryptocurrency trading platform, so people can come. They have a strategy. They can automate that. They can deploy a bot, and then they can trade on like different markets and different exchanges. And we've had the exact same structure. So we started with like an alpha, then we did closed beta, and then we did open beta. And I noticed you
Yep.
guys had the exact same development cycle as
Yep.
well, which is pretty cool.
You just trickle them in. Yeah, so
Yeah,
right now we're sitting, according to DApp Radar, we're sitting at 4.21 thousand, so 4,210 unique active wallets in the last 24 hours, in the last 30 days, which of course encompasses that time we're talking about. That's 11.69 thousand unique active wallets. So
nice.
doing
And
pretty good.
PaintSwap token is the token you use for in-game items.
Brush. That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. So
Brush,
this is
right?
actually the largest like economy style utilization of brush that we've ever done to date. And it's really working well. I mean, it's really going amazing. We've been really pleased to see the response with the shop that's in the game. You know, people are utilizing that. People are utilizing the skill boosts. We wanted to make sure that the things that we were providing, that we were allowing people to purchase with brush, were actually of use. You know, like not
Right.
just some like skin or whatever. So
Two
we've been
dollar horse armor.
right.
Yeah.
So we've been doing a lot of these skill boosts and XP boosts and combat boosts, which as listeners go in and play the game, you'll understand why those things. And of course, we do have our partnership with Onekin, which has been really awesome. You can find out more about that on our Twitter. They're at Onekin Labs.
Uh-huh.
But basically, you can sign up through Onekin and get like a little starter pack, which is kind of neat. I'm not going to tell you what's in it. I'm going to make people go and look at it. But it's
Nice.
really cool. At Onekin Labs. That's the number one KIN Labs on Twitter. You should check them out. They've got our
One can
product on
labs.
there, and we're excited about it.
Nice. Nice. So can people also make brush? Can they generate brush playing the game?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I mean, think about it. If in RuneScape you can make gold, then in Est4 you can make brush. We don't have some secondary token. You don't buy gold with brush. The token is there. You're using it. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, if your actions are profitable, you will make profit. I mean, that being said, this is an in-game economy here that we're talking about. Brush is not a
Yeah.
security. This is just a way that we've implemented it to make it usable by our community. But
Yeah.
anyway.
So, it's actually really funny you say that because I think you're the second guy to come on, and bear in mind this is just 5 episodes so far. The second guy to come on and say that this is not a security. Like people
It's
are
not.
still afraid that like shit's
Hey,
gonna
look,
go down with Gensler or anybody. So everyone just goes like,
all
not
I'm
a
saying is
security,
it's not a security. All right, whatever happens, happens. But
not a security.
better safe than sorry, I say.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Like you just have no idea what's going to happen in crypto 1 week to the next. I keep thinking that at least in the UK that we're going to have some more common sense when it comes to that. But we have another set of restrictions that came into effect actually as of today. So among the services that Binance is no longer allowed to provide to UK customers is the Academy, which makes no sense. Like the Academy, you're not gonna let people like learn about crypto?
Well, that's the thing. It's the problem is that, well, you know what? Never mind. We'll talk about this another time. I don't want to go into that with my PaintSwap hat
No,
on.
that's cool, dude. I get you. That's totally fine. Yeah. So let's go back to S4 Kingdoms. You said so it's an MMORPG,
Mhm.
but it's not in the same kind of play style as I would understand Diablo, right? Because I couldn't
Oh,
find
correct.
any.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That is. Thank you so much for bringing that up. That's an important distinction to make. So this is not a top-down game. That means This is not a three-dimensional regular play game. This is an idle play game. So this is an MMORPG in the same way that our original internet games were back in the day,
Right.
where you have your group of people, you all play the game and work together for your betterment. Now that being said, we're going to incorporate some further like interactive components down the line. That's already planned for the game. It's just not in the initial implementation. But yeah, don't come in expecting like a 3D walk around game. That's not the thing. It's much more of a strategy. Like you have to manage your time and your resources wisely in order to maximize the experience that you can gain, so that you can do X task or Y task. And we do have like a
Right.
list of 16 starter quests to kind of get people into it. That'll grow over time as well. For now, it's just the starters to kind of get people using the skills, seeing what's up, what kind of play style you want. Minting the heroes free, so you can go in and just kind of just do whatever the first time and then try again. That's my humble advice.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, we've established it's not a 3D game because I was thinking, okay, it's definitely like I can see all of the designs and the beautiful kind of NFT art that's there
Mhm.
for items and stuff. I couldn't kind of find a way to get into like a
A
to play
world,
it, but a world, yeah, exactly,
yeah.
because I came in with like the expectations that it's a kind of an interactive game world that you can explore and stuff. So is that a limitation of the because you had to put the game in a browser basically?
That's not a limitation. No, no, we that. I mean, if anything, we don't have the time or resources to develop that and develop it well
Right.
at this time. That's not off the table. That's not the product. At this point, we've talked about doing a variety of enhancements to the game in the future. There will be things that continue to build.
Right.
The great thing about blockchain, though, as we've kind of demonstrated with our beta product, which runs right now, is that we can have simultaneously all of these products running at one time if we so choose. So there's no reason to limit ourselves to saying, yeah, we'll do this. No, we won't do that in the future. We'll do what we do. That's kind of how we've always handled things at PaintSwap, though. We've very much been kind of a we are building stuff and then we'll drop it. We don't like to announce things or over overdraw things. It's not really our
Right.
style.
Right. And do the members of the DAO get to decide the direction that the game is taking, or like the quest and the characters?
Yeah.
Like how involved are DAO members into the creation of the game itself?
Well, the voting system is still relatively new, so we've only had a handful of chances to throw it out there. But
Right.
I think our first one was they helped us decide on some skills to put into the game. I'm pretty sure. But yes, that is a regular. That's a utility of Brush is getting to vote on the direction of EstFor Kingdom. It's not, we're not. I'm not going to pretend like we're going to put fundamental bones of the game in front of the members of the community, because there are things that need to be decided by like professionals. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, but anytime that it's possible for us to involve the community, we want to do that. We're hungry for that community feedback, because the more you listen to the community, I mean, in a job like I do, the more that you listen to the community, the less work you have to do. You just listen to people. You don't even have to come up with ideas. People just tell you stuff, and you can do
Oh
them
yeah.
or not do them, whatever. But that's kind of how we operate. It's a it's a good amount of voting, we hope, that will apply towards S4 Kingdom, but it will never be something that could compromise the integrity of the product, I guess is the best way to
Right.
say that.
I think that's a very nice way of putting it, and a very nice way to go around the limitation of what I feel a lot of people think about when they think about DAOs is, okay, well, you have this decentralized organization that's essentially could, in theory, be run by people who have no idea about this or that or the other. So being able to kind of bring professionals in to advise on things that maybe, because not everyone needs to be a software developer or like an AWS infrastructure engineer or whatever.
Exactly.
So I think that's a very nice way of going around that limitation and making the DAO itself more credible and eventually more successful down the line.
Yeah, you can think of like the founders and team members as, I mean, like a trust organization behind it. And our community does have a lot of trust in us. We've never we've never breached our community's trust in any way, and we will never do that. We're a very above board organization. So that's kind of why we've met no resistance at any point in these things. We've got I'd say we have a core membership
Hmm.
of people, and that specifically revolves around our Discord, that
Right.
just enjoy our products. They like to see what the developers come up with next. They trust in that process, and that's kind of been the guiding attitude of PaintSwap.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's honestly such a nice way of doing it. Instead of, yeah, it's a nice balance between listening to the community and making the right choices with the right experts when you need to.
Mhm.
Have you heard of LTO Network?
I've
I
not
had a
no.
I had a chat with the guys, and it's really interesting. It kind of ties in to what you guys are working on for S for Kingdom. So one of their products is they've been in discussions with other chains to figure out a standardized method of rendering in-game items across different
Mhm.
chains and different potential games that are going to come up. So let's say you have a sword in this game, like how do you import it into this other game?
Right.
um, so they've been discussing some kind of a standard, and I think it's a big discussion in the industry as a whole, just creating standards for gaming NFTs. Like how does the
Yeah.
design need to look, and all that.
I think that there's an over focus on creating a standard. That's a very centralized thing to do. If
Right.
I want to utilize a contract in my contract, I will do that. And you won't stop me, right? And that's the point of the decentralization to me, which I'm not saying that what they're doing isn't valuable. I'm sure it is very valuable and it'll create something awesome. But what I think is more important is if I want my players to be able to import your sword, all I have to do is deploy a wrapper contract that somehow interacts with yours. And then it becomes me who makes that happen, not the blockchain or another developer or another company. It's me, you know? So I think that
Right.
that kind of agency is really important when we consider the future of blockchain and this interactivity and stuff. Um, there's a developer who I've worked with a couple of times. His name's MaxFlow02, and he very much does these things. He if he sees a problem that he wants to resolve, he doesn't say who's going to resolve this. He just does that, and that's kind of how PaintSwap operates as well. But I think that in general, in the future of pardon me, blockchain interactivity, the number one consideration has to be independent development by independent creators because that's what brought us this far. You know, we shouldn't be. I don't think we need to standardize and centralize. I think we need to further decentralize and give ourselves more responsibility as creators to interact with more things for our community. You know that, but that's just my opinion.
Oh no, for sure. I mean, look, I think a decentralization is incredibly important in any aspect, whether
Mhm.
you think in terms of actual governments and the way power is structured within governments, or um, anywhere you really look, you could think, okay, yeah, this could do with with more decentralization. I think, but I don't necessarily think standardizing or having a standard that's accessible for in-game items is not necessarily a bad thing if it makes the user experience more seamless. Because I guess,
Mhm.
why would you go about redesigning or recoding something that could easily be standardized, just as you have an ERC 721? Like, you take that
Right.
NFT,
As an
put it
ERC
across.
standard, that would be a good addition. That would be a great addition. As a contract standard and ERC standard, now that I'd be in for.
Yeah. And everybody would be able to just import that, and it just works seamlessly across different
Mhm.
chains and different platforms and everywhere. Um, Actually, interesting. I noticed that you guys do ERC 1155s. Do
Mhm.
you have any 721s? And is there a reason why you're going for 1120 for 1155s?
We support any contract that our users need us to support for the most part. 1155 is our preferred, mainly because of gas optimization, and
All right.
honestly, it just does more stuff. you know,
Yeah.
the 721 contracts, of course, that was our original standard. A 721 NFT contract, for those who don't know, without going too deep into it, you can only mint one item one on this contract ever. And so that 721 contract, you've now got item one, and it's provably the only item one. In a 721 enumerable, which is a fatter version of that contract, you can look on the block explorer. It'll tell you how many have been minted so far, but that's pretty much the only difference. Then there's the 1155 that we're talking about. Now, the 1155, you can mint it's more of an ecosystem contract than just an NFT contract, but you can utilize it as an NFT contract if you'd like to do that. You mint multiple quantity of single items. You can batch transfer things directly from the contract. Everything costs way less gas. Blah 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 blah.
Right.
So
Right.
we use our heroes. Actually, this is interesting. We use a combination of 721 and 1155 in EstFor Kingdom. We utilize 1155 contracts for our items because, of course, there's like 10,000 small bones in my inventory right now. I can't have 10,000 individual NFTs for that. That's dumb. So instead, we use quantity, right? So every small bone is ID number 85 or whatever. I've just got 10,000 of ID number 85. In that way, you can utilize the 1155 contract to make scalable trades and stuff like that. And then our heroes are 721 because they are unique one of one, and they will only ever be that one thing and never change. But
Okay.
we are also the only No one has ever released another marketplace on Fantom that supports 1155 contracts, which is bananas to me. But here we are.
That's mind blowing. Yeah, it's okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. In fact, I think not to I don't mean to humble brag, but I'm pretty sure we may be the only NFT marketplace deployed right now that's just a standard marketplace on Fantom. I could be wrong about that though. Don't take that to the bank, but there have been some developments.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so let's say okay, I have a hero. I have a 721 right a hero, and I have a bunch of items. And if I happen to find a really rare item in your game, um, how easy it is for me to trade that with someone. Um,
Do what you want to do, man. You can sell it on the open market, on the NFT marketplace, if that's what you want to do. If you think you're going to be able to get a good price for it on the open marketplace, you can take it there. You can also sell it directly into the store if it's a sellable item. You can't sell items to our in-game store if there haven't been 100 of them minted, however.
okay,
So your rarest items, you're likely to have to sell on the open market. There are a
right,
bunch of reasons for that. You know, of course, we don't want the economy getting drained, but also it promotes use of that person to person. And we do have peer-to-peer swaps on our NFT marketplace as well that are trustless. So you can do
right,
a trustless peer-to-peer swap of items, so you don't get RuneScaped.
right. So in-game store, do you mean selling items to an NPC or to other players
Mhm.
in game?
No, to an NPC, to the store. You can sell your item
Right.
to the store, and we destroy it so that it, you know, we burn items as they sell them to the store, and it kind of keeps us from oversupplying any of these NFTs. You know, because if at any point we've got 2 million logs are available out there, and then I don't know, we decide to do some quest that requires logs. Whoever has 2 million logs is now Julius Caesar, I guess. You know, we don't want those things happening. So whenever we get items sold back to the store, we burn them to keep our overall supply down. So
Right.
you don't rebuy items in our store marketplace. You can only buy items secondhand. I'm sorry, I said in our store marketplace, in our in-game marketplace. If you want to buy secondhand from another human, you have to do that on PaintSwap.
On PaintSwap.
But it's
Okay, that
also
makes
safe
sense.
and trustless, so you don't have to worry about people, just taking your stuff and leaving.
No, that's awesome, dude. So, anything that you want to share with the people listening? Any kind of socials that you want to shout? Anything in
Yeah.
particular they want people to focus on?
Yes. All right. I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna pull my Twitter up to make sure that I do this right. So first of all, I'm Chronic Dispositions on Twitter. That's at Chronic Dispo, ChroniC Dispo, and then Paint Swap is Paint underscore Swap. EstFor Kingdom is one word. EstFor Kingdom, EstFor Kingdom. So definitely join us on Twitter. I'm pretty sure all of those except mine have a link tree that will take you everywhere else you could possibly want to go.
Awesome. I might actually join the Discord because it seems like a pretty cool community. So I wouldn't
You
mind
should,
that
man. It's
shooting the
fun.
breeze.
We've been having a lot of new S4 players actually, so you'll be right at home. Come on in, start playing S4, join the Discord. Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Thanks a lot. Shall we wrap it up?
Yeah, man. I appreciate you. This has been a lot of fun. I enjoy a good conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, me too, dude. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining, and yeah, thanks for telling us all about it, man. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.